There is a silence here that is heavy enough to crush the spirit. It is not merely the absence of sound. It is a physical weight pressing down from a sky that seems too close to the earth. This is Yakusha, the Republic of Saka, a land so vast and so unforgiving that it operates by a different set of physical laws. Here, boiling water thrown into the air turns instantly to dust. Steel becomes brittle as glass, and human skin, if left exposed for even a minute, begins to freeze and die. Tonight, the forecast predicts a descent into the impossible. The temperature is falling toward minus 71 degrees Celsius for most of the world. This is a temperature that exists only in theory or in the vacuum of space. But for a select few, the guardians of the tundra, this is simply Tuesday. Tonight, we are not just observing the cold. We are living in it. We are joining the reindeer herders of the Wanyakan Valley. We will see how they work, how they eat, and most terrifying of all, how they sleep separated from a deadly freeze by nothing more than a layer of canvas and the will to survive. This is Nikolai. His face is a map of the winters he has endured. His beard is already heavy with ice formed by the moisture of his own breath freezing the moment it leaves his body. The sun here is a shy visitor. In the depths of winter, it barely crusts the horizon, casting a pale, blue twilight for only a few hours before vanishing again. This perpetual twilight distorts time. Before the camp can rest, the herd must be tended to. The reindeer are the lifeblood of the indigenous people of the north. They are food, they are transport, they are clothing, and they are currency. At minus 71. The snow is not like snow in the south. It is dry, hard, and abrasive like sand. When the reindeer walk, their joints click a distinct sound that travels for miles in the thin air. They dig craters in the white powder, searching for lichen, the moss that sustains them through the long dark. Nikolai watches them with a gaze that is both protective and predatory. He knows every animal. He knows which female is pregnant, which male is limping. If the herd panics and runs into the huayca, they are lost. If the wolves come, he is their only defense. There is no modern technology here that can replace the instinct of the herder. Machines fail at these temperatures. Batteries die in minutes. Oil turns into a thick gel that destroys engines. Only the reindeer, and the men who follow them, can endure. As the violet sky turns to black, the true danger begins. The temperature drop from day to night is drastic. The shelter is a chum. It is an architectural marvel of the nomadic world, unchanged for centuries. It looks fragile, a skeleton of wooden poles draped in reindeer hide and heavy canvas. Against the might of the Arctic winter, it seems laughably insufficient. But looks are deceiving. Inside, the world changes. The heart of the chum is the stove. It is a simple iron box, but tonight it is the most important object on Earth. Nikolai feeds the fire with larchwood. The wood must be dry. If it is too green, it will smoke, choking the occupants. If it is wet, it will not burn hot enough to push back the death waiting outside. The physics of the tent are a constant battle. Heat rises. Near the peak of the tent, the air can be at tropical 25 degrees. But down on the floor, where the men will sleep, drafts of cold air slither in like snakes. The difference between the inside of this tent and the outside air is nearly 100 degrees Celsius. That is the thin line between comfort and catastrophe. Survival burns calories. The body, fighting to keep its core temperature stable, burns energy at a furious rate. A herder in winter needs 3 times the calories of an office worker. Dinner is not a luxury. It is fuel. The first course is stroganina, raw frozen whitefish. It is sliced thin, eaten while still frozen solid. It might seem counterintuitive to eat ice-cold food in such weather, but the fish is rich in vitamins and fat, essential oils that cooking would destroy. It melts on the tongue, a burst of energy that the body craves. Next comes the meat. Reindeer meat, boiled simply with nothing but water and perhaps a pinch of salt. They drink the broth first hot, fatty, and revitalizing. Then they eat the meat off the bone. There is little conversation. The wind is picking up outside, buffeting the canvas walls. The sound is a low roar, like a distant train. Inside, there is the sound of chewing, the sipping of breath, and the crackle of the wood stove. This is a moment of peace, but it is a vigilant peace. Water does not flow here. All water is stoned. To get a drink, to boil the meat, to wash a face. The herders must harvest ice. They seek out clear ice from the frozen rivers or lakes, ice that is free of sediment. Bringing the ice inside is a ritual. The block is placed near the stove in a designated barrel. It takes hours to melt. In the city, you turn a tap and life flows out. Here, every cup of tea is the result of physical labor. It is chopped, carried, and melted. Nothing is given freely by this land. You must take it with your hands. Now the hardest part of the day begins. Sleep. At -71 degrees. You cannot simply close your eyes and drift away for 8 hours. The stove is small. The wood burns fast. If the fire dies, the temperature inside the tent will plummet within minutes. If the tent freezes while they sleep, they may never wake up. Hypothermia is a silent thief. It steals the mind before it stops the heart. They sleep in shifts, though it is not formally spoken. It is an instinct honed by generations. One man wakes every 90 minutes. He listens to the wind. He checks the draft. He feeds the stove. The silence of the night is broken by the sound of the earth cracking. The permafrost, the permanently frozen ground beneath it, contracts in the extreme cold. It creates loud booms and pops like gunfire beneath the snow. It is the sound of the planet shivering. Nikolai steps out for a final chat. The transition is violent. The air hits his lungs like a solid object. At this temperature, you must breathe carefully, too deep, and the cold air can shock the lungs, causing a coughing fit that can crack ribs. You breathe through the nose, warming the air before it reaches the core. The landscape is alien. The trees are bowed under the weight of snow, standing like frozen sentinels. The aurora borealis, the northern lights, flickers faintly above, a ghost of green dancing over a graveyard of white. The herd is safe. The wolves have kept their distance tonight. The cold is too intense even for them. At -71, nature pauses. The predators, the prey, the wind, everything slows down to conserve energy. Nikolai looks at the thermometer hanging on the sled. The mercury has bottomed out, -71. He stands alone in the center of a frozen ocean, 1,000 miles from the nearest city. It is a terrifying isolation, but also a profound freedom. There are no bills here, no politics, no noise, just the man, the herd, and the cold. Morning does not bring warmth, but it brings light. The camp stirs, the fire is stoked into a roar. The ice on the inside of the canvas walls begins to drip. Nikolai drinks his tea. It is strong, sweet, and hot. He dips hard bread into it, softening the crust. His hands are rough, the skin cracked from the dry air, but they are steady. They have survived the night. The routine begins again. The wood must be chopped. The ice must be harvested. The herd must be moved to fresh grazing grounds. To an outsider, this life seems like a punishment. Why endure this? Why live in a place that tries to kill you every single day? But ask Nikolai, and he will not speak of suffering. He will speak of the beauty of the tundra. He will speak of the legacy of his ancestors, who have walked these snows for 1,000 years. He will tell you that the cold keeps the soul cleaned out. They are the masters of the freeze. They have adapted not by fighting the cold, but by becoming part of it. They respect the frost, and in return, the frost allows them to live. In the world's coldest land, survival is not an act of defiance, it is a way of life.